Here we are, good morning. We're going to talk about linear functions today. That is the equations of straight lines. And you know that an equation is a straight line because the x and the y are all to the 1 power. This x, because you don't see a power, is to the invisible 1 power. Whoop. And the y, because you don't see a power, an exponent, is to the invisible 1 power. That means it's a straight line. And we have to find the slope in the y-intercept. We do that by solving for y. Okay, so I'll have 6x minus 5y equals plus 16. It's positive, so I put a plus. And then what I plan to do is this. I plan to add 5y to both sides. And I do that in order to zero out the negative 5y over here. Oh, no. There I go. Okay. Wrong, wrong, wrong. Why is it wrong? Well, here's why it's wrong. Because it's the 6x I need to get rid of, not the 5y or the negative 5y in this case. So let's start again and pretend such an embarrassing mistake was never made. Minus 6x minus 6x. All right, now 6x minus 6x is 0. And you're left with negative 5y. That's what I wanted. So negative 5y equals negative 6x plus 16, then I divide through by negative 5 in order to solve for y. Why am I doing this? Well, I'll tell you in a minute. The negatives cancel, the 5s cancel. I have y equals negative 6 over negative 5 is positive 6/5. Positive 6/5 x. Now, positive 16 over negative 5 is going to be minus 16/5. And so I now know, because this is in slope-intercept form, that the slope is 6/5, not 6/5 x, but just 6/5. And the y-intercept is the point 0. 0 is always the first number in a y-intercept, and then b, which is negative 16/5. Okay, going back over this, making sure, yes, now it's right. All right, here is a real life problem. A little big, perhaps, but I want to make sure you can see what the measurements are. We're going to find the pitch of a roof, and the pitch of a roof is the slope of the roof, and pitch as opposed to slope. Pitch is given as a percent. So this is the rise of the roof. This is the run of the roof. Slope equals the rise over the run. So this is going to equal 1.8 over 9.8, and of course, I'm going to get my calculator. Now, my free trial ran out on the fancy calculator I had on my computer. So now I'm going back to the old standby, which is Wabbit Emu. It sounds funny, but it's a terrific little calculator, Wabbit Emu. And all you have to do is type that into Google, and you can download it to your computer. Now, at least it used to be that it was only an Android app, so if you wanted to put it on your phone, it would only go on an Android phone. But it'll go on any computer. So, just letting you know. And that might be different now. It might go on iPhones also. I don't know, you have to check. But I do know there is an iPhone TI, Texas Instruments, TI-84 emulator. That's what they're called, emulator. And that's what the EMU stands for, emulator. So I'm going to, I hope it works. No, it doesn't. Ah, there it is. 1.8 divided by 9.8. Enter. Now, this is the decimal. Obviously, it's a decimal, right? And I am going to copy this over to here. Make it smaller. As you can see, this calculator is green, like your calculator. Probably most of your calculators have a green background. All right. Now, why did I do that? Because I have to do something to that decimal, and here's what I have to do. I need to change it to a percent. So I'm going to multiply it by 100. And I'm going to do that on the calculator too. Why not? The number's already in there. Why not? So times 100. All right. So this is the percent. And as I recall, I should have written it down. Did I? No, I didn't. This is taken out to one decimal place. So 18, here, let's get it from here. Okay, clear. I could have just done that. Well, you know, you learn as you go. It's been years since I've used this calculator. And it is good. It's like a little workhorse. There we go. Not that big. Okay, I've got 18.36734,694, and this actually goes on forever. So what I have to do is round to one decimal place. Which means I look over one place to the right. This 6 is big enough to make the 3 go up to a 4. So my answer to the pitch is going to be 18.4%. That's the pitch of the roof. You've also got the grade of a road. Those are usually given in percent also. Okay, now we are going to actually find the slope of a line by looking at a graph. We don't have the equation, instead we have the graph. But we're going to do what we did here. And that's take the rise over the run. So I draw a little triangle. So that I get this right triangle. And what I'm going to do is take the rise. This is to find slope. The rise over the run. So all I have to do is count. 1, 2. So the rise is 2. And the run is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And there's one more issue. This line is rising from left to right. This point is lower than this point, which means that this line is called increasing. Which means the slope is positive. So now I know what the slope is. M equals rise over run. Taking the tilt of the line, whether it's increasing or decreasing or flat or vertical. Well, of course, there is no slope if it's vertical. All these things you have to remember. All right, rise over run is going to be 2 over 5. And the slope is positive because the line is increasing. And I know this because the point on the left is lower than the point on the right. And there you go for that. The slope is 2 over 5. Now here is a more complicated problem that it would be really, really hard to take the rise over the run. So there's another way, and nobody loves this. And you did this in beginning algebra or algebra 1, but who knows how long ago that was. So there is luckily a formula, but let's talk about this. It says find the rate of change in luxury purchases, what rich people buy, in a certain country with respect to time in years. Well, here's the time on the x-axis. And here is the amount of luxury purchases in billions of dollars. We're being asked to find how fast, obviously that's an increasing line, how fast did luxury purchases grow from 2010 to 2017? We're going to use an old friend enemy, the formula for the slope of a line. Because slope tells you how fast something is changing. Here the something is luxury purchases. The amount of luxury purchases in billions of dollars. And it says type an integer or a decimal rounded to 2 decimals. Over here, it says that. 2 decimal places as needed. You have to read those instructions so you know exactly the form your answer is supposed to take. So M equals, are you ready? Do you remember this? Y2 minus Y1 over X2 minus X1. That means you choose one point, how about this one, to be X1, Y1, and the other point to be X2, Y2. Well, that's not a Y. Y2. I was thinking of the next thing I was going to say. All of the little numbers, the ones and the twos, all they mean is I decided to make this point, point 1, and this point, point 2. And that's what this is. This is the first point. This is the second point. So Y2 minus Y1 is going to be 27.4 billion over minus rather 8.2 billion. So Y2 minus Y1 over X2 minus X1, which is 2017 minus 2010. Now do these separately at first. For instance, I know right away the bottom is 7. For the top, I'm going to use a calculator. So 27.2 minus, look what I can do. This is a learning moment. I take the back arrow key, the left arrow key, and I arrow back over that 2, and I type a 4. And then I move back to where I was, 8.2. So I have 27.4 minus 8.2. Enter. That's 19.2. Take the raw form of the slope and then do your subtraction. You're less likely to make a mistake. Okay, now we're rounding to 2 decimal places. Here is, put the whole thing in there. Eek. There. Now. We have to round to 2 decimal places, 1, 2. That means I look over at the 3rd decimal place. Is this 2 big enough to round the 4 up to a 5? And the answer is no, it's not. So our answer, we're going to drop off these decimals and we're going to go with 2.74. and put that in the answer box, which is expanding. So this is going to be you don't have to write the dollar sign. Just put 2, so I better erase it. Okay, the dollar sign is already there, so just put 2.74. The billion is also over here. So this is 2.74 billion, and that's how much in this problem the rate of purchasing luxury goods is, well, the amount of luxury goods are going up by $2.74 billion per year. That's what this rate of change is. Slope is the rate of change, and in real life, that's its most important meaning. Okay, this is a real life look at slope and what it really means. All right, we're going to use intercepts. Remember, intercepts. Here's how you find intercepts. You let x equal 0. Here's your equation, x plus 3y equals 6. So we're going to have 0 plus 3y equals 6, which gives us 3y equals 6, divide by 3, divide by 3. So y equals 2. When x is 0, y is 2. So that gives us the point 0, 2, which is right here. This is the y-intercept. Now, let y equal 0. That means x plus 3y equals 6 is going to be x plus 3 times 0 equals 6. 3 times 0 is 0, so I'm left with an x on the left, x equals 6. And what that means is when y is 0, x is 6. So 6, 0 is right here. This is the x-intercept. Now, all you do is line them up. Now, in my math lab, when you graph a line, by the time you click on the second point, the line is already drawn for you. But if you're doing this on paper, which would have been the way you were first taught, first you plot the points, then you draw the line. And so this is the line x plus 3y equals 6. This is a straight line in standard form. You can always change it, as we already have, to slope-intercept form. Going to take a minute and save. All right, now we're going to use a different, much more educational method. This method is easier for graphing when you have a line in slope-intercept form, which is what this is. The y-intercept is 5. Let's see, this is 2. I better do this first. This is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, which means this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now, why am I doing this? 8, 9, 10. We need to know where these points are, and you'll see why if you don't remember. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. And we're going to be doing the same thing here. Here, this is 2, this is 1. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through here and do this so that I can count 1 at a time, which when I use this method that I'm about to talk about, that's how I'm going to be graphing. I have to be able to count out the places. All right, so slope is rise over run. Slope is 10/7 here. So slope equals 10/7 equals rise over run. Now watch this. 10 over +7 equals rise over run, where rise is the vertical side, or vertical movement, I should say. How much the line goes up when the line goes horizontally. Up or down, I should say. Vertical is up or down. Run is left or right. This is horizontal. Well, up here in the rise, plus means up, and minus means down. Okay, or positive means up and negative means down. Therefore, a positive 10 means we go up 10 units. Now, for the denominator, the horizontal run, left, that is, wait, positive means right. Go to the right. And negative means go left. So the method for doing this, the method for graph the equation using the slope and the y-intercept, one, it means you don't have to struggle to find points. You already know that's the y-intercept because this is slope-intercept form. That's the y-intercept. In other words, it's a point on the line. Let's make a big old blobby dot right there. Now I use the slope as a road map. to get from one point to another. Use slope as a roadmap. Okay, so I start at 5, I go up 10 and to the right 7. So I start at 5 and I go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Don't put a dot. Wait until you've gone to the right 7. No, I'm going up 10. Wait a minute. Well, that'll be to 15, won't it? 5 plus 10 is 15. Now go to the right 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now put a dot. This is telling me my rise is 10, up 10, and my run is 7, positive 7, so to the right 7. And that's how I got from this point to this point. Now, should have made it blue. And now I will connect these points. And I'm done. Now I need to save. Okay, so this is a review of 2 of the graphing methods you've learned for straight lines. This is more instructive about the real meaning of slope. So there are at least 3 meanings: rise over run, and the tilt of a line, and the rate of change. Now this one is hard and it's new. Yeah, we're going to do it twice. This is college algebra. No review here. Whoa. This is college algebra right here. We're going to take the meaning of slope to a whole new level. We're going to start out easy and then work up to more difficult. Okay. This monster is called the difference quotient. Students always hate it. Well, just about everybody hates it. Yeah, but it's a real deal, and it's very important. H is a number. A very little number. I usually think of it as H equaling 0.0001. Okay, and depending on why you're using it, it can mean the error in your measurement, which you hope is a really small number, or it can mean 2 points on the x-axis that are really close together. But here is what we do. If you have a curve like this, let's just take a curve. And suppose this is the x-axis. And suppose these are any 2 points on the x-axis. They're really close together, so that the distance between them is h. Now, the matching points on the curve are here and here. Now, if I connect these points up, ooh, there we go. I can use those 2 points to find the slope of this particular curve. Why would I do that? Because it would tell me the rate of change in this very small area. How fast are things changing? What this does, the difference quotient lets me find a formula for any x and any point that's h away from it, so that I can use this anywhere, well, anywhere on the graph to find how fast the changes are occurring in whatever this measures. You don't do this for your health. You do it because it's important to your company or to the project you're working on. So, here we go. This is a 4-step process. You're given what f of x equals right here. Okay, that's step 1. You write it again. But you write it big. You'll see why. Trust me. F of x equals 3x minus 2. That wasn't hard. Now, this is different. Step 2. We have to find this. F of x plus h. Whatever goes in here goes in for the x, so this is 3 times x plus h minus 2. I distribute, so this will be 3x plus 3h minus 2. Great. Now step 3. We need to find the denominator. We're not dealing with that right now. Step 3 is just finding, did I say denominator? I meant numerator. We have to find the numerator, the top of the fraction. So I'm going to find f of x plus h minus f of x. And I know both of those now. I know that f of x plus h is 3x plus 3h minus 2. and f of x is 3x minus 2. Now let's work that out. I will have 3x plus 3h minus 2. Now, minus is like, okay, I have to distribute the negative sign into this set of parentheses. This is positive 3x. Negative times positive is negative. So this will be minus 3x. Negative times negative is positive. So we'll have plus 2. Okay, so 3x minus 3x. Oh, yes. Next step, combine like terms, but it's not a separate step. 3x minus 3x. You've done this before. That's 0. Negative 2 plus 2 is 0. In fact, you've done this before too. Now, this step is new and ugly, but all you're doing here is polynomial subtraction. You did that in beginning algebra. I know because I used to teach beginning algebra. And this is combining like terms. You've done that before. Where? In beginning algebra. Okay, and what does that give us? Well, everything's gone. The 3x's are gone, the 2's are gone. I'm left with 3h. Cool. This is what f of x plus h. F of x plus h minus f of x. We now know equals 3h. So what? We're almost done. Step 4. Now we do the whole problem. F of x plus h minus f of x over h. This is the difference quotient, the slope of the line. F of x plus h minus f of x is 3h. Divide by h. The h's cancel. The answer is 3. Of course it's 3. You knew that before you started. F of x equals 3x minus 2 is just y equals 3x minus 2. This is slope-intercept form. This is the slope of the line. This is a straight line, and this is the slope of the line. So what this is this is a very easy, obvious, when you get the knack, example of proving, really, that 3 is the slope of the line. So this problem was a gimme problem, and I did it just because it's so easy. This is easy, believe it or not. This is a very easy way to show the steps, and doing these 4 steps can guarantee you get the problem right. Now we're going to do a harder one that you have to stop. I have to stop and think about each step. The answer is not obvious. This is our f of x, negative 3x squared plus 5x plus 7. And we are going to find the difference quotient. Now this looks like this. We call this a cupped down parabola. It's not a straight line. Nope. And so my example up here is much more like this, where you've got 2 points on the x-axis that are really close together, and the distance between them is h. And if you go up to the graph for this point, and up to the graph for this point, and then connect those 2 points, well, and find the slope of that line, you will have how fast a formula for how fast your curve is changing, whatever you're measuring is changing. And that's very, very important. For instance, if you have a business, you want to know how fast your profit is changing. Just for instance, you would really care about that. So we are now going to apply these 4 steps to this. Well, to this. So let's get started. Oh, step 1. F of x, I'm writing real big, equals negative 3x squared plus 5x plus 7. Whatever goes in the parentheses goes in for the x's. The x's are just placeholders. Variables are just placeholders. Step 2, f of x plus h equals negative 3 times x plus h squared plus 5 times x plus h plus 7. Okay. Now we have to work this out. I cannot I cannot distribute the negative 3 right now because I have to square x plus h. This is what I do next. Negative 3 times x plus h times x plus h. Okay, now I can distribute the plus 5. So plus 5x plus 5h plus 7. I'll have negative 3 times. Now I'm going to show you all the steps to doing this. And how I'm going to do that, I am going to erase the first x plus h. Make it a different color. X plus h. And here's how you multiply these. Take that x, multiply it by the second set of parentheses, x plus h. Then take the plus h in the first set of parentheses and multiply by the second set of parentheses. Come on now, don't be bad. The second set of parentheses, x plus h. All right, and I just used brackets. Well, I used brackets because I've got parentheses on the inside. I didn't want to use nested parentheses, and so it's just easier visually to have a different set of parentheses shaped differently. Okay, meanwhile, I write the rest. 5x plus 5h plus 7. Now, not going to do anything with the -3 yet. I have to multiply. This is what I'm going to do. X times x, x times plus h. I've got a plus h times x plus h times h. So x squared plus hx plus hx plus h squared plus 5x plus 5h plus 7. Now, I'm still not going to use the -3 because order of operations says you simplify inside the brackets or parentheses first. This is hx plus hx. How many hx's do I have? I have 2. So this is x squared plus 2hx plus h squared plus 5x la-di-da plus 5x plus 5h plus 7. All right, now I can distribute the -3. Woo! I'll have -3x squared minus 6hx minus 3h squared plus 5x plus 5h plus 7. Okay, what I did is I took -3, multiplied it by x squared, multiplied it by 2hx, multiplied it by h squared. This is what f of x plus h equals. This might be the hardest part. But we don't have time to linger. So let us move on to step 3, which is f of x plus h minus f of x. Actually, I'm not going to write it that way. I am going to write it this way. Let's try that. F of x plus h we just found is negative 3x squared minus 6hx minus 3h squared plus 5x plus 5h plus 7 minus the original f of x, which is negative 3x squared plus 5x plus 7. We're almost done. Okay, negative 3x squared minus 6hx minus 3h squared plus 5x plus 5h plus 7. Distribute the negative sign. Boom. 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 Negative times negative is positive 3x squared. Negative times positive is negative 5x. Negative times positive is negative 7. Woo! All right, combine like terms. Negative 3x squared plus 3x squared equals 0. 5x minus 5x is 0. 7 minus 7 is 0. And so you are left with negative 6hx minus 3h squared plus 5h. Step 4. Take this. Well, don't take that. We now are going to write the entire difference quotient for this problem. All right, f of x plus h minus f of x. Yes, that's what we found here. F of x plus h minus f of x. That's step 3. We now know it's negative 6hx minus 3h squared plus 5h. I'm going to divide this by h. And as you remember from polynomial division in beginning algebra, that means you divide each term by the h. Now you can tell that the h's are going to cancel, the h's are going to cancel. To make this step easier, change it from h squared to h times h, because h squared is h times h, and then you cancel. So that your answer, your formula for your entire f of x formula here, your entire f of x function, your formula for rate of change is this. Okay, and this is the answer you would put in the answer box. in my math lab. No time to marvel at our work. Let us go on to this problem. You can savor the work and go over it later. Okay, find an equation of the line containing this point and this point. Yes, indeed. You've done this before too. Again, it might have been a whole lot of years, or it might just be like 2 years. Or 2 semesters even. Step 1. Everything has steps. Find the slope. Always find the slope first. M equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Now, I always let the point on the left, it's just a habit, point on the left be x1, y1, and the point on the right be x2, y2. So that my slope is going to be, now watch this carefully, y2 minus y1. y1 is -4. You have to go slowly or you can make a terrible mistake there. Now, 1 minus 5. Now, negative times negative is positive, so this is going to be 5 plus 4 over 1 minus 5 is -4. 5 plus 4 is 9 over -4. Most of the time, you're not going to leave your negative on the bottom. Here's what you can do with it. M equals 9 over -4 is exactly the same thing as negative 9 over 4 or negative 9 over 4. It's considered bad form to leave a negative on the bottom of a fraction. It's not wrong, it's just rude. Every culture has its rudeness and unrudeness, things that they consider rude and unrude. Math has its own culture. Okay, now we find the equation of the line, now that we have the slope. There are a bunch of these in the homework, like 3, that's not really a bunch. Find equation of line. And they're already worked out for you in module 2. I'm only doing one of them right now. I think I'm only doing one. In the interest of time. Okay, here is the point slope formula. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. So, here are my points. Look at that. 5, -4 is x1, y1, so I can use those. Or 1, 5 looks easier. I have to use one of those points, but it doesn't matter which one. So I am going to use the point 1, 5. Y minus 5 equals negative 9 over 4 times x minus 1. Okay, now I'm going to show you some magic that's customarily used with this to get rid of fractions. If you've ever in your life wanted to get rid of fractions, and who doesn't want to get rid of fractions? Moving the equal sign over. The trick for getting rid of fractions is this. Take the denominator of the fraction and multiply both sides of the equation by the denominator of the fraction. Okay, I said 4 over 1 because this is going to multiply another fraction, and it's easier to multiply a fraction times a fraction, and 4 divided by 1 is 4. Same number. But when you're multiplying fractions, when this number and this number match, they cancel each other out, leaving me with negative 9 over 1, which is negative 9. Meanwhile, over here, I have 4 times y minus 5. Okay, now I'm going to distribute. Suppose I should make little arrows there and there. And negative 9 times x, negative 9 times negative 1. So I will have 4y minus 20 equals negative 9x plus 9. Add 20 to both sides. Cancel the 20s. Well, they zero out. You'll be left with a 4y on the left and a negative 9x. 9 plus 20 is 29. And then get y by itself by dividing by 4, dividing by 4, dividing by 4. Here the 4's cancel, leaving me with y equals negative 9/4 x plus 29 over 4. And this is how you find the equation of a line when you're given 2 points. First you find the slope, then you find the equation of the line. Do you have to memorize these formulas? Of course you do. You had them memorized at one time in your life. Now you get to do it again. Now here, find the equation of a line having the given slope, that means they give you the slope, and containing the given point, they give you the point. But notice that here, you don't have to find the slope, they give it to you. So this is only a one-step problem. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. So here's the point. That'll be x1, y1. Y minus 3 equals 5 times x minus 4. And now we just work out what that is. Y minus 3 equals 5x minus 20. There sure are a lot of minus 20s in this problem. Plus 3 plus 3. The 3's zero out over here, leaving me with a y. And I'll have 5x minus 17. And there is the equation of the line with this slope containing this point. Okay, now how do you find the equations of parallel lines? Parallel means that if you have this line, and it goes on forever, if there's a line parallel to it, then you're going to have a line running side by side with it, never crossing it, forever and ever and ever. Yeah, those lines are parallel. Okay, real fast. Parallel lines have the same slope. Very important. Use this line to find the slope. Okay, I'm pretending that this black line is this line. Because parallel lines have the same slope, if I find the slope of this line, it will also be the slope of that line. So, I've got x plus 4y equals positive 3. I'm going to subtract x from both sides of the equation. Minus x minus x. X minus x is 0, so I'm left with 4y on the left and negative 1x plus 3. Then I divide by 4, divide by 4, divide by 4. This is the slope of the given line. I'm gonna, right there. M equals negative 1/4. Now, all I have to do is use the point slope formula to find the equation of the line that goes through this point that's parallel to this line. So it's the new blue line we're trying to find. And that's the one that goes through 2, 8. All right. All right, let's do this thing. Y minus 8 equals negative 1. I'm going to write it as negative 1/4 times x minus 2. Okay, and get rid of the fractions by multiplying both sides of the equation by 4. And these 4's cancel. Now, on the right side, over here, I'm left with -1/1, which is -1. So I'll have -1 times x minus 2. Meanwhile, I prefer to wait and distribute on the left and right side of the equation at the same time. So now I'm going to do that. I'll have 4y minus 32 equals -1x plus 2, because -1 times -2 is +2. Same thing here. 4 times -8 is -32. All right, now I have to solve for y, so first I get the -32 out of the way. -32 plus 32 is 0, leaving me with 4y equals -1x plus 34. And then divide by 4, divide by 4, divide by 4. So, boom, y equals -1/4 x plus. You need to simplify that. 2 goes into 34 and 2 goes into 4. The safest thing is to get your calculator and do the following. 34 divided by 4. Hello. My big problem with Wabbit-Emu has always been remembering to turn it on. Try it again. 34 divided by 4. Now, I'm not going to say enter. Instead, I'm going to say math. See how frac is at the top, so frac, enter, 17/2. Or you can just divide 34 by 2, and 4 by 2 has to be the same number. So 17/2. And that's it for today. We have finding the equation of a perpendicular line and 2 word problems, after which we don't have any problems. They're already done in the videos, however, and in the notes. However, I'll still go over them on Monday. There you go. Now, in my opinion, you should watch the inaugural events and then do your homework. But get all your homework done by Monday the 25th. Okay, so this homework, the first 2 weeks of the homework, has to be done by 11:59 on Monday, because on Tuesday, everyone who hasn't done enough homework is going to be removed from the class. Tuesday the 26th is too late. So get it done by Monday.